ערב שבת קודש, פרשת בשלח, תשפ"ג. ספר שמות, ספונסרד, רפואה שלמה, מיסיס בריינדל בטרלה. אלנה רפנלה, אלנה רפנלה, אלנה רפנלה. This week's parasha was sponsored לעילוי נשמתו הטהורה של מיסטר ריימנד מוסרי, עליו השלום, רוח השם תניחנו בגן עדן, אמן, ולעילוי נשמתו של רבי רחמים בן מזל, עליו השלום, רוח השם תניחנו בגן עדן, amen. We will continue a little bit about Tu Bishvat, and then we will go into the parasha. When Am Yisrael were in the desert, Borei Olam gave them the man. The man was their food. It was a holy food. Asked Rabbi Avraham Azulai. Avraham Azulai was the grandfather of the Chida. It's very interesting with what happened with him. He once went with the ship towards Eretz Israel. On the way, there was a big storm, and he lost all his property, but he was saved. From that time, in order to remember the ness that happened to him, that he was saved, he changed his signature. And he always, when he signed on letters that he wrote, he used to sign with the shape of a ship. Why did he do it? In order to remember the ness every day. He followed here, by the way of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Ramban asks, why Moshe Rabbeinu, that was so close to Borei Olam, which he is Rofei Chol Basar, why Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was in Egypt, he didn't ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please, you are the doctor, so heal me, that I will not stutter anymore. Why he didn't do it? Answers the Ramban, a very nice answer. He said, Moshe Rabbeinu was not born with this defect. It happened to him when he took the crown of Paro and he put it on himself. There was among the psychologists in Egypt, there was a machloket. What shall we do with him? There was an offer to bring 2 plates, a plate of coals, hot coals, and a plate of golden coins. And we will see what Moshe will do. If he will take the coins, it shows that he did it with a purpose, and he is a very dangerous boy. But if he will take the coals, it will show that he did it as a stupid thing. When they brought the 2 plates in front of him, Moshe sent his hand with the mind to take the golden coins. But an angel pushed his hand to the coals, and since they were so hot, he put the coal or something of the fire in his mouth, as a baby does, and therefore he got damage in his lips. Says the Ramban, since Moshe Rabbeinu, his stuttering came through a ness that the angel pushed his hands to the coals, Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to remember every day this ness. Therefore, he didn't ask Borei Olam to heal him. On the way of Moshe Rabbeinu to remember the ness went Rabbi Avraham Azulai. This was in brackets. Let's go back to his question. So he asks, in the desert, Borei Olam gave Am Yisrael as food the man. When they entered Eretz Israel, the man stopped. This is written in the beginning of Sefer Yehoshua. And he asked, why Borei Olam stopped the man when they entered Eretz Israel? In order to answer this question, he gave an introduction. Why at all Borei Olam had to make such a strange ness that man will come down from heaven every day? Borei Olam is Kol Yachol. He can do everything. He could have done that that when Am Yisrael will go in the desert, vegetables will grow in the desert. Food will grow in the desert. Why Borei Olam had to, and this would have been a ness that food grows in the desert, but it was within the nature. Why to make something out of the nature? Answered Rabbi Avraham Azulai, it is true. Borei Olam wanted to plant in Am Yisrael a little bit of Kedusha. They were people that were full with impurity in Egypt. They cleansed themselves from the impurity. But Kedusha they needed. So Borei Olam wanted to plant in them Kedusha. If he would have made that the desert and vegetables will grow and fruits will grow in the desert, nevertheless, the desert is considered chutz la'aretz. So the land in chutz la'aretz is impure. It's not like the Eretz Israel, that Eretz Israel is Eretz HaKodesh. There is Kedusha in the land, and everything that grows in the land absorbs Kedusha and Tahara from the land. So therefore, Borei Olam didn't make such a nest within the nature that in the desert, vegetables will grow. And therefore, he gave them the man in order to implant in them also Kedusha, a holy thing that comes from heaven. With this introduction, he answered the question why the man stopped when they entered Eretz Israel. Said Rabbi Avraham Azulai, Eretz Israel is Eretz HaKodesh. They will enter Eretz Israel. They will eat the fruits of Eretz Israel. They will eat the wheat and all the vegetables and all the fruits that grows in Eretz Israel. In every fruit, there is a Kedusha and Tahara of the land. So therefore, when they entered Eretz Israel, the man was not needed anymore. And therefore, the man stopped. But what we learned here is that the land of Eretz Israel is holy, and everything that grows in Eretz Israel, all the fruits and everything that grows in the land, has a certain kedusha. There is a mitzvah to Bishvat to eat at least from Shivat HaMinim shenishtabacha bahem Eretz Israel. But unfortunately today, it's very rare to find from Shivat HaMinim things that grew in Eretz Israel, because a lot of the fruits nowadays is being imported from Turkey and from all other countries. So it's better to look for fruits that grew in Eretz Israel itself. There is a minhag in Eretz Israel on Tu B'Shvat to plant trees. Tu B'Shvat, we eat fruits of Eretz Israel. But if you will see that the trees that are being planted in the land of Eretz Israel on Bishvat are trees that they don't make fruit. All kinds of trees, but not fruit trees. So why isn't it better to plant trees that makes fruits? The answer to this is maybe this shows the big emunah that Am Yisrael has. Because the Midrash says in Parashat Bechukotai, ונתנה הארץ יבולה, ועץ השדה ייתן פריו, that the tree will give fruits, says the Midrash that it will be as it was in the time of Gan Eden with Adam HaRishon, that all fruits, all trees gave fruits. Even trees that usually nowadays they don't give fruits, but in the future, these trees will give also fruits. Atidim ilanei serak. Ilan serak means a tree that doesn't give fruits, to give fruits in the future. Therefore, maybe they are that they are planting trees in Eretz Israel nowadays, trees that don't give fruits, to show the emunah that in the future they will give also fruits. Still here about Tu B'Shvat. After Bnei Israel, after they went out of Egypt, the Egyptians ran after them to bring them back. And says the Pasuk that Paro came close, and Am Yisrael looked, וישאו בני ישראל את עיניהם, והנה מצרים נוסע אחריהם. They saw that the Egyptians are traveling after them, are running after them. This pasuk doesn't go according to there is one word in this pasuk that doesn't go according to the straight language, because the pasuk says that the pasuk used a word in singular. Mitzrayim is not singular. There are a lot of people. They should have the pasuk should have said, "Bnei Mitzrayim nosim achareihem." Why the pasuk says Mitzrayim nosei achareihem? Rashi felt that something is wrong with this word, and therefore Rashi is saying Mitzrayim nosei achareihem, singular. Says Rashi, belev echad, keish echad. Means they were unit. They were one unit. There was a unity among them. And Rashi is using the words belev echad keish echad. Such a thing we find also when Am Yisrael came to Ma'amad Har Sinai. The pasuk says, "Vayis'u mirefidim," in plural, "Vayavohu midbar Sinai," plural, "Vayachanu bamidbar," plural. And then the pasuk says, when they camped near the mountain, the pasuk says, "Vayichan sham Yisrael neged hahar." Vayichan, singular. Vayachanu. Why Vayichan? Again, Rashi felt something is wrong with this word. And Rashi says there, Keish echad, belev echad. The word Vayichan in singular came to show the unity. But Rashi here changed the order. And by the Egyptians he said, belev echad, keish echad. And here, and by the Egyptians, by Am Yisrael, he said, keish echad, belev echad. Why Rashi changed the order of the things, of the words? In order to explain it, we have to understand that there is a big change between the unity that Am Yisrael have and the unity that the Egyptians had and all the other nations have. There are two ways to have that the unity can come from two ways. In two ways the unity can come. What is the unity? One is that the nation is from the essence of the nation is one. Everyone is for the other. They are one soul. The other way to have unity by a nation, that the people are getting together for one goal, but they themselves, among themselves, they are not one unit. This is the difference, said Rabbi Ytzchak Hutner, who was the Rosh Yeshiva in Chaim Berlin, in the state, in his book, Parashat Yitzchak. And he says, Am Yisrael is one unit, one nefesh, but they are being divided into separate bodies. And when they come to do one target, so they came to Ma'amad Har Sinai, since they are one unit, the essence of Am Yisrael is one unit. Therefore, the pasuk says, "Keish echad," they are one unit, and also belev echad, they decided to do one thing, to accept the Torah, while the Egyptians, they are not one unit. Everyone is separate. Everyone is separated from the other. The pasuk says, "Leta'ava yevakesh nifrad." They are not together. And but what made them to become one unit? They had a target. They had a goal. They wanted to run after Am Yisrael. This made them one. Therefore, by the Egyptians, Rashi changed the order, and he said, "Belev echad." They had one heart, means they had one goal. This made them one. And because of this, they became Ish Echad. This is the difference between Egyptians and Am Israel. And therefore, Rashi changed the order. According to this, we will understand the Pasuk in Tehillim that we are saying it also in Haggadah Shel Pesach. The Pasuk in Sefer Tehillim in Perek Ayin Tet, in Pasuk Vav and Zayin, the Pasuk says there, Shfoch hamatcha el hagoyim asher lo yedaucha, v'al mamlachot asher b'shimcha lo kara'u. Borei Olam, pour your anger on the goyim. The Pasuk speaks in plural. Al hagoyim asher lo yedaucha, v'al mamlachot asher b'shimcha lo kara'u. The whole Pasuk is in plural. And then suddenly the Pasuk changed itself into singular. Ki achal et Yaakov ve'et naveu Esau. Because they wanted to swallow Yaakov. They wanted to annoy Yaakov. They wanted to destroy Yaakov. But why the Pasuk says Ki achal et Yaakov? The Pasuk should have said, Ki achlu et Yaakov. It started in a plural way, talking about Goyim, a lot of nations. Why the Pasuk says, Ki achal et Yaakov? According to what explained Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner, we will be able to understand this also. The Goyim are separated, especially nations. They are not together. They are fighting one with the other. But when it comes to eat Yaakov, to eat Am Yisrael, they become one. This is the difference between the Goyim and between Am Yisrael. Now we will continue with this pasuk that we started. The pasuk started with the pasuk that the Am Yisrael saw the Egyptians are running after them. Ask the Ibn Ezra why they were so worried from the Egyptians. The Egyptians were a very small group. Am Yisrael were a lot of people, 600,000 people beside the children. So they couldn't stand against the Egyptians. Explained the Ibn Ezra that normally, for sure, they could have fight with the Egyptians. But at this time, Am Yisrael couldn't do it. Why? Because they were slaves in Egypt. Self-esteem was in the ground. They didn't have self-esteem that they will be able to stand and to fight against the Egyptians. This was the reason that they were worried all the time. Because of this, says Ibn Ezra also, that the people who went out of Egypt didn't enter Eretz Israel. Why? Because in order to enter Eretz Israel, they had to fight against the Canaanite. And these people couldn't fight. They didn't have self-esteem that they will be able to fight. And then they will ask me, this is not the reason. The Pasuk says clearly the reason. Because of the sin of the Meraglim. That they said, Lashon Hara on Eretz Israel. The answer is, this is the idea. Why they spoke against Eretz Israel? Why they didn't want Eretz Israel? Because they didn't have self-esteem and they couldn't fight against the Canaanite. And they said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Ephes, we are 0. We will not be able to fight against them. Therefore, they spoke against Eretz Israel. Therefore, says Ibn Ezra, this generation that didn't have self-esteem couldn't enter Eretz Israel. Their children, that they were not slaves in Egypt, that they had a different soul, highly, they were brave people, and they could have entered Eretz Israel. This would give, but this he explained also why Moshe Rabbeinu, in another place, said Ibn Ezra, why Moshe Rabbeinu, the leader of Am Israel, had to grow in the palace of the king of Paro. Wouldn't it have been better to take a leader that grew in the yeshiva of Yaakov Avinu in Goshen? Why to take a person that he was a modern person that lived in the palace of Paro? The answer is to become a leader in Egypt. You needed a person with a highly self-esteem. Therefore, Moshe, that grew in the palace, he could have stand towards Paro. But if he would have grown with Am Yisrael, that they were slaves, he would have had a nefesh of an Eved. And this would wouldn't have been, in this way, he would not have been able to become a leader of Am Yisrael. This is the reason, says Ibn Ezra, why Moshe Rabbeinu in Guru, Borei Olam directed it in this way, that Borei Olam will grow in the palace of Paro. And Am Yisrael came to the sea. Something very strange was there. Moshe is the leader. In the Israeli army, also we have leaders. The way in the Israeli army is that all the generals and all the commanders, they are saying one word, Acharai, after me. This is the way that the Israeli army is built on. Because this gives a lot of self-esteem and brave to the soldiers. That the general is first, is in front. When we look on what happened here, Egyptians are running after Am Israel. The Jews they came, they are standing towards the sea. They don't know what to do. They scream to Borei Olam. Moshe Rabbeinu says, go. But where are you? You are the leader. Why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't jump first to the sea, and after him, all the Am Yisrael would have gone? This is a leader. But when we look in the Midrash, we say no. Nachshon ben Aminadav, he jumped first. Why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't do it? The answer to this question will be according to Rabbeinu Bechaye. Rabbeinu Bechaye represented the question. When Am Yisrael were walking in the sea, says the Midrash, the sea splitted into 12 lanes. This is being learned from the Pasuk in Tehillim, Legozer Yamsuf Ligzarim, the one who cut the sea into pieces. From here, the Midrash learned that 12 lanes were at that time, and every tribe was going in his own lane. Now, the question that Rabbi Chaya represents, did the lane in the sea, the water split the whole way in 1 minute, or no? when Am Israel entered the sea, every step that they did, that they were intending to do, the sea split. The sea split slowly. Person made one step, the sea split for him for the second step. He went into the second step, again the sea split. This Rabbeinu Bechaya represents, and he says that the sea didn't split the whole lane at once. And little by little, the sea split for Am Israel. Why? Says the Rabbeinu Bechaya, because the purpose of all the nisim that Borei Olam did to Am Israel in Egypt and in the desert was to bring them to have emunah in Borei Olam. That everything has to go through emunah. Therefore, the sea didn't split at once, to strengthen their emunah. I did one step, it happened this way. I will do another step, here's emunah, the sea will split. This was the way that Borei Olam did Kriyat Yam Suf, according to Rabbeinu Bechaya, and all the nisim was to strengthen the emunah in Borei Olam, in Am Israel. According to this, we will be able to answer our question, why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't go first? Moshe Rabbeinu, he had full emunah in Borei Olam. All the nisim that Borei Olam did in the desert and in Egypt and in the sea was a test to Am Israel. Do you have emunah or not? Strengthen the emunah. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't need it. Therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't jump first. He left it to Am Israel to do it. I want to wish everyone Shabbat Shalom, and in Hashem we will meet next week. Shabbat Shalom.